All right, so I've seen this around a lot, especially from you guys. This German lady married a Filipino Jeepney driver and discovered KAPWA. I am excited to check it out. Please come join me. Let's go.
Filipinos have a way of changing their partners, making them smoother, making them laugh more, making them less stressed out. So it's just this whole spiritual, non-material side of the
Family-oriented.
Filipinos. That is what fascinates me. That's what's so worth keeping alive. I think it's great. I'm Katrine. Basically, I'm soul having a Katrine experience. That's what I firmly believe.
Wow.
I am German, was born in Germany, Munich. It's an artist city, so of course I was destined to be an artist. And eventually I met my husband with my boyfriend. Goodbye, boyfriend. Hello, jeepney driver. He drove a jeepney and he invited us very KAPWA. Oh, you want to come along? I'm going to an exhibition.
That's
and
so
the
amazing.
exhibition was about the cross-fertilization of East and Western culture. So it was very meaningful. No, it was really the beginning of our lifelong friendship.
Oh my goodness.
Eventually, I went to the Philippines, fell in love with the people right away. It was exactly like how your film showed it, like you're invited somewhere as a guest and then you're invited to sleep in the host's own bed while the host sleeps somewhere else. Wow, Germans don't do that. You guests, you sleep on the
You know what's funny is I have obviously German in my blood because my great-grandmother was from Germany and she went to Brazil, which is kind of a similar like story to the lady. My great-grandmother, she was German, came to Brazil, married a Brazilian, and boom, here I am over the time. You feel me? So being Brazilian and being German and knowing like kind of like that culture, especially from that side, it is completely different. But of course, they all share their qualities. But I feel like the Philippines really shines in moments like that because of how different they are in love and loving, especially with family and things like that. It's really beautiful to see that.
floor. It's really these differences, no? But then what I really loved was the street food. Turon and suman and fried bananas and boiled kamote
I
and
try to
all
make
these
that.
things so yummy. And then when I met my husband's mother, she was such a lovely person. The only thing I didn't understand about her was why she powdered her face. She was beautifully kayumangi, and then every morning she covered it with this crust of white makeup. I literally cried. I said, why? Why does she do that? She's so beautiful. Beautiful face, beautiful eyes. And then she covers it all up just to fit this American model. It really, really, really affected me that Filipinos would hide their own beauty like that. So my interest in knowing the beauty of the Filipino grew even more. And then later on, when our youngest son was 4 years old, I started to enroll in school because already by then it was quite clear that my husband was always on the move as a filmmaker. He was always...
You know what's amazing too is in the Philippines, they're always on the move with certain things. Like that's how kind of persistent they are, especially with work or anything like that. A lot of them are overseas, which is another video I think you guys linked over to me. They're like #1 with overseas. So I just think it's honestly really beautiful.
Is busy, and somehow I thought with so many artists in my family, I'll just become a psychologist. That was my second love. So I went back to it, and that's when I learned about KAPWA, the beauty of the Filipino.
KAPWA.
The way it came to this PhD was that I had this indigenous professor, Dr. Vera Enrique, who came up with this KAPWA philosophy and with this whole theory. And he had a master class. He held it in Tagalog. I couldn't speak Tagalog, but I understood everything. You don't need to understand a language to understand a person. So that's how I was encouraged
I agree.
to study Filipino psychology. And I did it swimming against this stream, against this Western terrible framework that cuts out anything that's essential to Philippine people. So I was the first, and I think up to now the only PhD in Filipino psychology. Nowadays, everybody squeaks through because it's easier. You don't have to fight all the time. But for me, I was determined only to study what I was interested. And that led to the writing of this book. And then it led to the publishing of this book and to several conferences on Filipino psychology and indigenous people and artists. It's
so
just
wholesome.
This whole spiritual, non-material side of the Filipinos.
Yeah.
That is what fascinates me. That's what's so worth keeping alive. And I think it's great.
I love seeing this, man, really taking a part of it and being it, you know?
Once you learn about KAPWA, you see it all over Filipino culture.
Yes.
Something that made me feel a little bit shy in the beginning, when you sit in a bus and you sit there squeezed pretty tightly beside somebody,
Yeah.
and then they eat chicharron or a little bit of peanuts, and then they offer you. And in the beginning, I didn't know how to behave, you know. So I ate actually. And then they offered me more and I ate more until I realized it's the gesture. Filipinos will offer you everything and anything they have, but it doesn't mean you should actually take it. So I felt again, oh, what should I do? So there are lots of learning like that, but that's also KAPWA. If you share your food, you share your energy. I was also amazed about how open most of the artists here in the Philippines were about what they did. You know, their techniques like whether Pandi Apiado or Bencab, all of them shared their technologies, their ways of doing things. German artists wouldn't do that.
They
would
just gatekeep.
show you what they do, but if you ask them, how do you do this? They would say, you know, don't ask me anymore. But here everybody was so open. And for me, this is KAPWA now. So many examples. Guests will sleep in the bed.
Very raw,
instead
organic.
of on the floor. People always share food. In fact, in Enrique's class, everybody brought something to eat. And it was all in the middle. And there was never a meeting where it was just classroom styles. Everybody just looks at the guru in front and nothing happens. It was always collective, always communal. And it's so beautiful.
Wow. It's always a group in every situation. I feel like that's the most beautiful thing to take away too.
Being married to someone like Kitlet has really shaped how I see things and who I am. I don't know if people who are really totally individualistic and only in their own world, if they would ever want to stay here or if they're too shocked, because your heart just melts. If you can survive it, if you can break down your hard walls, then you can become a very beautiful, warm heart being also. I would say not just because of contact with the Filipinos. There are really many ways. So there are good people everywhere around this world. But Filipinos have a way of changing their partners, making them smoother, making them laugh more, making them less stressed out. So this is extremely important. And maybe that's what my professor always said. We Filipinos will re-educate the world. We will repopulate the world. We change everything. Maybe there's really an impulse coming from the Philippines that could come from nowhere else.
Oh, that's their...
Our son, the one that just died.
Oh, no.
He was very, very talented. He could do anything, fix anything. He was the favorite of his teachers. And so his wife, she once asked him, so what do you want to do? You want to be a filmmaker? You want to be a photographer? You want to be a businessman? What do you want to do? What did you come here for? And then he said, after just 1 second reflection, I just came here to love people, to make people happy and to serve. And this is just so beautiful. I just came here to make people happy and to serve. And for me, this is the essence of KAPWA and the essence of Filipino people who live who they are. This is the beauty of the Filipinos that I fell in love with. This is why I wanted to be a part of this culture, and this is what Filipinos can contribute to the world.
What a beautiful thing to say, man. You know, I feel like I cried there mainly because I didn't know he passed there. I thought it was just showing his growing up and everything, but and then she said that he passed, and that beautiful story of what he said to the teacher, you know, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, I just want to love people. I want to... Ooh, man. I don't know, man. Something about someone being so genuine and just not wanting. I don't want everything. I don't want everything. I just want people to be people. I want all of us to just love each other and be happy, wherever we are. Make the most out of something. Even if you think it's nothing, just make the most out of it. I think a beautiful quote was, dream unrealistically because nothing is unrealistic. Think about that for a second. And I genuinely, and I mean wholeheartedly, genuinely love the Philippines and all that it has done for me in terms of perspective, in terms of love. I feel like it's shifted my entire life in that beautiful way. And I've always had this kind of fascination with, what if we just don't try to do too much and just try to be ourselves wholeheartedly? And just try to love people and see the good in almost everything, because there's so much bad. We could sit here and just talk about bad all day forever. But of course, sometimes it needs to be looked at, but we really need to pay attention. In the Philippines, they really pay attention to the beauties that they do have, not what they don't have. That's not the consistent part of life in general. If you grew up, even in the richest family, you will always just look for something that you don't have. The next thing. What's next? You will never be happy. And I feel like the Philippines is important in that essence of, look at what you do have. Period. That's it. I love this story, man. This was beautiful and just so organic. I loved it so much. Thank you for linking it over, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you liked it, leave a like. If you loved it, subscribe. If you want more, let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace.